The Journey to the West is a foundational piece of Chinese literature. It established many tropes that we still see in today's media, and it has influenced countless franchises, including Pokémon. When designing the Fire-type starter Pokémon for the 4th generation, they drew much inspiration from one of the principal characters in the story, Sun Wukong. However, this piece of trivia got me thinking. Much like the main character Tripitaka, we rely on others to fight our battles. So what if we tried to beat a Pokemon game as the famous monk? Can you beat Pokemon Platinum as Tripitaka? The rules are going to be real simple, so try to follow along, okay, champ? Rule number 1. We will be battling with only 4 Pokemon who I think best represent the characters. Chimchar / Monferno / Infernape as Sun Wukong, Mankey / Primeape as Pigsy, Wooper / Quagsire as Sandy, and Ponyta / Rapidash as the White Dragon Horse. Rule 1A is that we are going to be allowed to bring with us some HM slaves, because none of those Pokemon can fucking fly. Rule number 2. I will be starting with Chimchar, obviously, then giving myself a new Pokemon after every gym badge in the order in which they appear in the novel. I will have to spawn some of them using action replay, then catch them. I'll get into more details when I actually do this. Rule number 3, no leveling past the gym leader's ace. And rule number 4, have fun. The run begins in Twin Leaf Town, where Tripitaka's meditation is interrupted by his rival, the Bull Demon King. Bulking, as he will sometimes be referred to from now on, tells us we need to go to the next town over, but we are stopped by Buddha, who tells Guan Yin to give us a protector named Sun Wukong to keep us safe during our journey to fill up his scroll called the Pokédex. With Sun Wukong, we begin the fight against the penguin demon summoned by the Bull Demon King, so we can begin our journey proper. Piplup keeps using fucking Growl, which makes our attack lower, which makes the fight last for way too long. But we finally vanquish this foul beast and can go gather our Pokédex. But then we have to go back to our mother. Mommy tells us to bring a parcel to Bulking, so we're off to San Gem Town again, where Guan Yin tells us how to catch a Pokemon. We need this to gather our 2 HM users. We catch our first one here and name him after my favorite character from South Park, Mr. Slave. I thought I'd look for a Starly here as well, but I wasn't really committed to it, so I kept going to Jubilife City. It was there I was interrogated by a member of fucking Interpol, which really throws a wrench in my whole Journey to the West vibe here. You're breaking my immersion, Game Freak! After that, we find Bulking at the trainer school, gather our Poketch, which is a stupid name, and go fight Bulking and his demons here. Yeah, I'm playing this at 3 a.m. What do you want from me? After that epic duel, we head into the Oreburgh Gate, where a hiker gives us a tool to help us smash, and we avoid the trainers to make our way into the city. Tripitaka asks the Bull King where the gym leader is, and times are tough, so he's working out his second job at the Oreburgh mine. We head down there where we catch a Zubat named Mr. Plane, and Rourke shows us how to smash safely, and with protection. And then we head back out to begin our grind. We head north of the city and start fighting wild Ponyta and Machop for speed and attack EVs, respectively. I sort of contemplated catching a Ponyta here and just leaving it into the box until we unlock it, since spawning Pokemon later is a lot of hassle and would actually make the Ponyta we spawn a little stronger, since we'd get our choice of nature. However, Sun Wukong is super OP, just like in the novel, and kills them all. Damn. We level up to level 14, evolve into Monferno, get ourselves right up to the cusp of level 15, and then heal up to go challenge the gym. Since I've been grinding all these attack and speed EVs, I figured Sun Wukong could set up one turn with Leer, and then super effective Mach Punch each rock type that Rourke sent out, but Geodude and Onix are both unsurprisingly tanky. I was able to one-shot either of them, even after setting up a Leer on Geodude, but I managed to make it through both of them on relatively low health. When Cranidos arrived, I was pleasantly surprised to see that he's not nearly as tanky as his friends, and Sun Wukong hit him with a pretty good Mach Punch down to the red. Rourke used a potion, but it wasn't enough to save his dearly beloved Cranidos. We then sent that bitch to the Shadow Realm shortly thereafter. Upon beating Rourke, it was now time to spawn our next Pokemon, a level 10 Mankey named Pigsy. Since I got to decide his nature, I decided I would go Jolly instead of Adamant because, for some reason, I really love these speedy glass cannon builds. I then started EV training Pigsy on Ponytaz on that same route where we were grinding with Sun Wukong, when I again contemplated catching one for the run. I eventually did catch one, named him Wittergenhurst, because I didn't have enough room for the vowels. He has a gentle nature, which is basically fine. Neutral attack and speed means he can be another high attack, high speed, glass cannon, just like the rest of my Pokemon at this fucking point. But we're not allowed to use him yet, so that fucker goes in the box with Mr. Plane. Upon ending the grind session, because we can't progress too much, and we have a lot of forced battles before it's time to challenge Gardenia, we notice that 2 grunts are attacking Buddha and Guanyin, so she and I protect the honor of this supreme being. I initially throw out Pigsy, who almost immediately starts living up to the character in the novel by being completely useless, and then letting Sun Wukong cover for him. Fortunately, our Monkey King kicks ass on Pigsy and Tripitaka's behalf, living up to his own book character. We fight a few trainers on the route up ahead, one with a Magikarp that gives speed EVs and a very small amount of XP. So you definitely think I went and got an old rod while I was in Jubilife, right? Fuck no, we don't play games well on the K Thugston channel, baby! I head through Ravage Path using Mr. Slave, then head into Feroma Town. I head straight for the Valley Windworks, where Pigsy gets his ass whooped yet again. We are not ready for the inside, and since he's the ace in my hole until we get to Gardenia, he needs to get bulked up. Cue the training montage. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. Which lasts for all of about 2 seconds. We take out 2 Buizzles and run away from a Shellos before I end the recording for the morning. While we're in between recordings, I want to bring up that this video is sponsored by my new channel, K Thugston Reads. I haven't had time to get into most of the books I've wanted to read recently, so I figured, hey, why not share the experience with you guys so I can both avoid illiteracy and make some moolah on the side, because I am a true capitalist. Anyway, head on over there. We'll have quite a few videos already on there before this video even comes out. When I boot up the game again, I keep grinding with Pigsy until I remember that I talked about the old rod in the script already, so I go back to Jubilife and grab it. Magikarp speed EVs are going to be really helpful in this run, but the old rod has such a bad encounter rate that I start grinding Buizzles instead so I can get to level 13 and just do the encounter in the meadow already. It was at level 13 that Pigsy wanted to learn a new move, and I finally realized the build I want to do with him. The move? Karate Chop. Why is it so good? High crit ratio. Pigsy already has focus energy, and so if I can use his high speed to get a setup in before we get hit, I can get a pretty solid crit chance with that move. And so against normal, rock, ice, and dark types, we have a pretty incredible counter. We head to the meadow where we have to fight 2 grunts in a row. They have Zubats, but these Zubats in particular don't have any of their flying type moves yet, so Pigsy can stay in against them and even set up the focus energy so we can spam Fury Swipes and take them down. We head into the Valley Windworks and challenge one of the grunts. Unfortunately, this grunt has a higher level Zubat, which makes me scared that it knows Wing Attack. Thankfully it doesn't, but Pigsy's poor eyesight makes him miss his attacks twice in a row. After that battle, I'm not confident, so we do some more grinding. At level 15, we go back in and challenge the other optional goon, who sends out a Glameow that lets me set up a focus energy and goes for a scratch. It probably would have gone for a fake out if it had access to it, but since it doesn't, my Karate Chop crits and takes down the kitty cat. They then bring in a Stunky, which puts up little resistance to our fine swine, and we can now challenge Mars. I want to do this at as low of a level as possible, since I can only use Pigsy until we get to Eterna City Gym, so I save right before the battle to see if it's possible with Pigsy at level 15. I get some pretty bad RNG and make some pretty bad move choices here, which causes me to point out that Mars is a toxic bitch. I do a little math here, and I check if Karate Chop or Low Kick are the best move on Perugly, But what I should have done is neither, since Perugly went for the fake out and I completely forgot about it. However, Pigsy is still at too low a level, and as soon as he goes down, I decide to reload to a prior save, so that way I don't need to load up Sun Wukong on XP. I then grind Pigsy to level 16 where I try the battle again. I am pretty sure I can do it this time if I get good RNG, and sure enough, I was right. I use an X defense on the turn when Perugly uses fake out, then we start using Karate Chop. We need to make sure that we get a crit here, and we do! After we one-shot Garfield, we can go onwards to Eterna Forest where there are 2 mandatory battles. Luckily, we have the girl who I always had a huge crush on when I played this the first time to keep us healthy. With Cheryl's help, we head through the forest with almost no hiccups. Unfortunately, Pigsy faints in battle with a Beautyfly and our last save was a long while ago, so Sun Wukong does have to come in and he levels up to level 19. He does gain a physical attacking fire move at this level, so it's not all bad. I also have to use him in the second battle, since we're up against Abras, and I want to make sure I have an attack with Stab to use against them. I beat them, and head to Eterna City, where I realize that I do have enough room to take out all the gym trainers, but also fight a trainer with 6 Magikarps, which give us a speed EV for very low XP. We still aren't on the cusp of level 23 yet, so we grind a little more with the Pokemon on Route 211 until we're ready to go. Gardenia is a decent challenge and actually takes out Sun Wukong the first time due to some poor move choices on my part. I got some better RNG on the second run and went into the Rose Raid portion with full health. But we got a high roll on our very first Flame Wheel for the one-shot. With that, we can go spawn and capture Sandy, a level 20 Wooper with a relaxed nature, then start grinding against the grunts in the Team Galactic Tower. No, fuck, not like that! Baby, grind on me. Relax your mind, take your time on me. After some hiccups, we finally get Sandy to evolve, and then end the recording. Picking the game up after my 2-week holiday vacation, I defeated the rest of the Team Galactic staff who were standing in the way of me getting to Executive Jupiter. Let's talk about her. She's got a Zubat and a Skuntank, and I'm pretty sure her Zubat doesn't have Wing Attack, so I brought out my boy Pigsy to deal with it. Unfortunately, Zubat does have Wing Attack, but Pigsy does manage to bring it down. He then goes down, and Sun has to come in for Skuntank. We use Flame Wheel instead of Mach Punch because Mach Punch sucks, and when we are brought to low health by Skuntank, Sun Wukong's Blaze ability activates, and we are able to take down the giant, stinky rat. We then go get our bike, ride down the cycling road, and head to Hardhome City. This gym has no mandatory trainers, but I realized somewhere around here that Sandy would not be able to handle this gym, since his only attacking moves, at this level, are ground and normal type, and I would not be able to hit any of Fantina's Pokemon. So I had to do this with Sun alone. Or so I thought. I spent quite a while grinding, and then trying the gym battle over and over, when I finally realized I could give Pigsy a Dark-type TM that would be super effective against the Ghost types. I then began grinding Pigsy for 5 levels, and this took a long fucking time. I wanted speed EVs for Pigsy, so my strategy was to fight 5 Magikarps per level, then fight exclusively Bidoofs and Bibarels for their attack EVs. While I was doing this, I stopped the recording and started again with no audio from my computer so that I could watch that Penguins show set in the Batman universe while I was grinding. If I can find it during this grind, Pigsy learned a Dark-type move called Assurance, which was stronger than the one I taught him, but the Thief TM lets us steal held items from Pokemon, so I guess it'll be worth it later. After Pigsy was on the cusp of level 27, I started grinding the Fantina fight for a while. Over 30 minutes in this recording session, by the way. I'm downplaying this because I don't want to edit that much, but god damn it, this was fucking miserable. I called it quits for the night and started again the next day, fighting Fantina again for another 23 minutes before I realized this strategy would not be the one that worked. However, I came up with one that did work. Now, see, Miss Magius knows Magical Leaf, and Sandy has no moves that can hurt her, so I generally thought he was useless. He couldn't even learn any of the TMs that I had. However, I scoured his moveset, and I found one possible hope for us. Did you know that the Rock Tomb TM is available right after you get Rock Smash? I didn't either. I taught it to Sandy, grinded even more, then I began the Fantina fight grind once more. In the battle, Sandy would help take down Duskull, Sun would take out Haunter, and then I would save him and Pigsy for Mismagius. However, eventually I stupidly saved after the start of the battle as I sent in Pigsy against Mismagius. And apparently they decide the confusion probability is pretty far in advance because I kept getting the same result no matter what I did. Pigsy kept hurting himself in confusion. I was fucking furious with myself and the game, but eventually I let Pigsy go down, switched into Sun, he hurt himself, then used Blazed Boosted Flame Wheel before he died to bait out the Citrus Berry, then I revived Pigsy with Sun's last turn. I then switched into a wounded Sandy, healed Pigsy, then Sandy went down. Pigsy then hit through confusion once, got hit by a Psybeam, and survived. He was at 8 HP, and if he hurt himself, I was probably going to quit this run, honestly. However, he snapped out of confusion, thank God, and he hit the Assurance to finally end Mismagius and save the run. I was trying to avoid using healing items during battle, but I had already used some status healers in previous battles, so it didn't matter too much, and I also didn't list it as a hard rule, so I was technically allowed to do it, but since I fucked up the save system and saved over my pre-battle slot, I was kind of trapped in this cycle. If you want to dislike the video because I used items in battle, that's fair, no harm, no foul. After that ordeal, I saved 3 slots because fuck, I'm never doing that again. I then pulled Wittergen Hearse out of the box and began heading towards Jubilife City to start leveling him up, which I did for a while until I got bored and ended the recording again. I started the game again and grinded some more for the 6th recording. That was it. In the 7th recording, I was grinding a little bit more, but I had the audio off because Patfinity put out a new What Makes This Song Stink that day, which was pretty good. After we got up to a good level with Horse, we fought against Bulking, and on my first try, I had Pigsy out first against Staravia, and I had saved while in the dialogue before the battle. I wanted to try again, so I switched into Sandy to take out Staravia, and the rest of the battle went pretty smoothly. Horse even got to take out Rosalia, which was cool. After that, we head to Salacion Town and find some off-brand Pokemon Viagra. What? What do you mean that's not correct? It's literally called PP Up. When I come back for recording 8, I head out of Salacion Town and I spend quite a bit of time up north on the routes connecting it to Veilstone City. There were a few fights where I made some poor choices and, due to the rain nerfing my 2 fire types, I had to restart from earlier on in the route. There are these 2 required ace trainers at the end of the route, which, if I were unbiased, I would say are a really neat way to benchmark the player's progress, while showing off trainers with more advanced AI, since they can, and will, actually withdraw Pokemon from the fight. However, I am biased, so fuck these 2, and I'm glad I'm not forced to fight them as a double battle, and I can take them on one at a time. Onwards into Veilstone, I begin fighting the trainers, and I must say, I hate this puzzle, because every time you bump into one of these punching bags from the side, it plays a really slow animation that you can't move during. I beat all 4 trainers inside, and then I save right before I take on Maylene, thinking there's no way I could actually beat her with such a low level team, right? But we give it the old college try anyway, and we actually do. Here's how. With Sandy out against Meditite, I used an X accuracy during the fake out turn so I could make sure Sandy's inaccurate attacks would hit. Then I stayed in until Meditite took out Sandy and Pigsy came in to finish the job. Surprisingly, Lucario came in next, so I brought out the horse. Unfortunately, Lucario is fast as fuck and one-shots the White Dragon horse with Force Palm. Sun comes out next, and he gets a big hit with Flame Wheel, and we managed to get the burn off, so we are able to finish him off with Mach Punch before he can take us out. Sun stays in against Machoke, and gets a big hit before he goes down, then Pigsy lands a Karate Chop. I basically have this in the bag now, so I want to see if she's going to use a potion here. But she doesn't, and Pigsy outspeeds to take out the final Pokemon for another easy badge. I'm glad this one was easier because Fantina's was a goddamn nightmare. After the gym, Dawn and I take out 2 Galactic grunts together, and we make our way down the routes south of Veilstone to Pastoria City. We save as soon as we get in, which is smart because we immediately try to get in the Pastoria gym and are challenged by bulking while our 2 lead Pokemon are damaged. Thankfully, we revert back to the save, heal up, and end the recording to take him on next time. You know what? Let's just not talk about recording 9. You can go watch the whole thing on Patreon if you want to see why. In recording 10, we started grinding for the rival fight. That's it. In recording 11, we kept grinding for the rival fight, but then we actually did it. I'm going to start truncating for time here because if I go every rival fight, gym trainer, gym leader, Team Galactic leader, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, we're going to be here all day. The rival fight was not bad. Only took 1 reload. I then started clearing out some of those gym trainers, 2 of which are actually completely optional. After I got to Wake, I decided I would be dumb to try it at my current level, so I decided to take out the 2 fishermen. Turns out that still wasn't enough, and Wake destroyed me, so I ended the recording for the night. In recording 12, I realized the new season of Invincible had started, so I started watching that during my grind session. I cannot fucking stand this new season, by the way. Mark is quite literally the dumbest motherfucker in the world, and Cecil is absolutely right to have all these contingency plans to deal with him. He's supposed to be a grown adult, but he acts and thinks like a fucking toddler. Is it like that in the comments? Let me know, because it is supremely frustrating to watch. Starting up our 13th recording section, I was ready for another slog, but I wanted to try Wake one more time, just to see if it could be done. After all, both Sandy and Pigsy were at level 37, and they were the only 2 Pokemon not weak to water. I started the fight with Pigsy having the Fist Plate, and with Sandy having the Quick Claw, and Sun Wukong out in the leading position. I had him use Stealth Rock before he went down. The horse went in, got killed, and then Pigsy went in. I set up Focus Energy, used Karate Chop a couple of times, and got a crit, then I died. Sandy came in, and we started spamming Rock Tombs. Gyarados made the mistake of using Twister on me, and we got the dragon down to red and baited the Hyper Potion. We then kept going with Rock Tomb until we used a Max Revive on Pigsy, then survived on 1 HP to take out Gyarados with a Rock Tomb, using a clutch Quick Claw proc. Floatzel came out, we healed Sandy, then used Earthquake before getting taken out by Brine. Pigsy came back, and we set up our Focus Energy and swept the rest of the team using Karate Chop crits. After that ordeal, we catch up with the Galactic Grunt Bomber who keeps running away from us, take him out, get the meds from Cynthia, then make our way to Celestic Town. On the way, Sun Wukong evolves into Infernape, which is pretty cool. We beat the Grunt in front of the ruins, then beat Cyrus within. We get Surf from Cynthia's crusty-ass grandma, head to Canalave City, and fight bulking on the drawbridge, which is very unsafe. Never have a dogfight in the middle of a drawbridge, kids. After that, I realized we didn't even have to go to Iron Island to challenge the gym, so I head to Byron's gym and start clearing out the trainers. I had been frustrated with the horse's performance in recent battles, but he really started turning it around here. My ire shifted to a different member of our team as we started the 6th gym battle, which was going to be the easiest one of the run given our type combos. I didn't want to just do a boring sweep with Sandy using Earthquake 3 times and killing everyone, so after Sandy took out Magneton, I sent in Sun Wukong against Steelix. Sun used his close combat, but didn't get the one-shot, so Steelix used our strategy and one-shotted Sun with his Earthquake. Not cool, only we are allowed to use cheap strats like that.
Horse cleaned up Sun's mess with the newly learned Fire Blast move. We bring in Pigsy afterwards, and he handles the rest of the battle fairly easily. Want to hear something crazy? All that was done in less than an hour and 45 minutes. Not bad.
Recording 14 was a big one, over 4 hours long. We started in Canalave City and headed to Iron Island to go pick up strength from Riley. We then went to the library with Guan Yin, Bulking, and Buddha himself, where a huge explosion happened at Lake Valor. We then headed over there where we had our first fight with Saturn. He and the other commanders have a new formula with their Pokemon, where they have a Golbat, a Bronzor, and their signature Pokemon, which, in Saturn's case, is a Krogunk. We take him down. We then realize that Bidoof cannot learn Strength, so we go catch a Bibarel named Mrs. Slave for gender equality reasons, and teach her the move instead. And head onwards to Lake Verity, where the formula repeats in our rematch with Mars. She goes down as well, and then that means we need to go to Snowpoint City and Lake Acuity. We can't get to the lake because it's up a hill, and Tripitaka is a delicate flower, so he can't climb some very, very climbable rocks. On the way to Snowpoint, we finally get our beautiful Rapidash, and thus a fully evolved final team. Hell yes! The Snowpoint Gym is another slaughter, and is extremely easy. Sun Wukong was basically invented to sweep this gym, so he sets up Stealth Rock on Sneasel, then takes her out. Piloswine is next, and we switch to Horse, who obliterates the Mammoth Pig with Fire Blast. Obama Snow comes in, and we stay in with Horse, who uses Fire Blast again. Same strat on Frostlass, the end. With the badge, we head to the Veilstone Galactic HQ, and we make our way through until we find Cyrus giving his big dictator whose name starts with H speech, and the dedicated nap room with a Pokédoll still tucked in the bed. We steal it, take a nap, and then head up to fight good old Cyrus. We lead with Sun, who obliterates Sneasel, then stay in against Crobat accidentally, but this turns out to be advantageous. Crobat brings us into Blaze range, which makes our Flame Wheel strong enough to take out Crobat. We switch out and send in Pigsy to steal the Citrus Berry from Honchkrow. Pigsy then gets taken out immediately, but then Sun comes in to deal big damage. In comes the Sandman, and we get Cyrus to use his full restore, then we use Rock Tomb over and over to win the day with a lucky crit. After that, Saturn is back. This battle is pretty easy, thanks to Sandy's Earthquake. Toxicroak never stood a chance. We free the legendary lake Pokemon, and head to the top of Mount Coronet for our final showdown. Bulking helps us against the two dyed-hair feminists, as we lead with Horse, and they try to set up both Reflect and Light Screen with their two Bronzong. We take out one so they can only get the Light Screen up. Then in comes Skuntank, who teams up with Bronzong to gank my horse to death. Munchlax gets a crit and a paralysis while baiting out the Citrus Berry. Nice. Sun comes in, as does Perugly, who uses Aerial Ace to kill Sun. Munchlax absolutely nails it with another big ol' body slam, though. Next comes in El Cerdo, and he cross-chops Perugly for the W on that one. Munchie goes down as one of the Golbats comes in, and Staraptor replaces the Munchie boy. Staraptor almost takes out Skuntank, and we both get hit with a powerful air cutter, and then the bird goes down from a flamethrower and the subsequent burn. Bulking's Rapidash comes in, and we take out Skuntank, so it's down to their two Golbats, and that's it. Pigsy gets hit again, eats his berry, and then Rapidash misses. This sucks. I then hope for a crit with Karate Chop, but it is not to be. But Rapidash hits a Fire Blast, bringing the healthy Golbat down into the yellow. Pigsy isn't long for this world, but he brings another Golbat into the red before he dies, alongside Bulking's Rapidash. We then bring in Sandy and Heracross, with Sandy using Surf on both Heracross and the enemies, but Heracross goes down before it hits him. The Surf takes out one of the Golbats, and in comes Empoleon, who eats a Confuse Ray for us as we take out the last Golbat with only Sandy left over. Cyrus uses his kinky red chains to try and bind Dialga and Palkia. Then Giratina comes out and jump scares my DS. We head into the Distortion world, have no trouble with the puzzle, none at all, then fight Cyrus for the last time. This one is really hard, since we don't have any healing items to use during the fight, but we lead with Sun against Houndoom. We set up a Stealth Rock, get knocked into Blaze range, then take out the evil puppy. Sandy and Gyarados come in, and we start throwing rocks again. Sandy goes down, and the horse comes in to start stomping the big water snake. This baits the full restore, and eventually, horse goes down. But Pigsy gives the sacrifice, so we can max revive both Horsey and Sandy. They come back in, and Sandy dies once more, but we take out the water dragon. Horsey takes out Haunch Crow with Fire Blast and Flame Wheel. Then it's down to the last two Pokemon for ol' Cyrus. The way we win in the end is by switching to an injured Sun who Mach Punches Weavile down, then uses a Blaze boosted, try saying that 5 times fast, Flame Wheel, inflicts a burn, and then dies. The horse comes in and uses Fire Blast while Crobat heals. Then we revive Sandy to use him after Horse dies to give us a clean sweep. Sandy lands a Rock Tomb, and we revive Sun, who uses Crobat's lowered speed to land a Flame Wheel first and take out Cyrus for good this time. Tripitaka then faces off against the giant demon lord Giratina, and Bulbapedia lied to me about Origin Form's ability, so I decide that instead of our team fighting this evil demon bastard, Tripitaka can handle this fight for once. We throw the Master Ball and put Worthless in the PC box, never to be seen again. We go tell Buddha of our success, and then start heading towards Sunyshore. Remember when I said that PP Up was literally Pokemon Viagra, and you all laughed? Well, the devs seem to think it was funny too, because I found another one right next to the Pokemon Size Contest. Sounds like someone was using it to turn their Magikarp into a Gyarados, if you know what I mean. In Sunyshore City, we are greeted by a white man with a red afro who tells us that Volkner has crippling depression. When we go see him at the lighthouse, he tells us that he's depressed from killing hundreds, if not thousands of Pokemon in his state-sanctioned dogfights. The only thing that will cheer him up is if we beat up his animals instead, which we head to the gym to do. He leads with Jolteon, and after we lead with Sandy, this is pretty much an easy lick until Sandy actually goes down. After that, Sun comes in to I'm gonna learn to talk one day. Sun comes in to finish Volkner's Luxray, and thus the battle. With all 8 gym badges, I know it doesn't say I have them yet on the side. I fixed it later, don't worry. We have to catch another Bibarel to learn Waterfall. Then we start clearing out Victory Road using YouTuber Quad Raid's directions. As you can see by what my Pokemon look like by the end, it was pretty tough, but we made it through. We make it up to the league, try fighting Bulking, and then get our asses whooped, so then we have to spend the rest of the session grinding. The next recording session, we actually managed to beat Bulking, and I give the league a try. Since Cynthia's highest level Pokemon is a level 62 and all the Elite Four are low 50s, I don't know how to implement the level cap, so I decide that we can give it a try now, but I don't know, I wasn't very confident. Going into the fight, every Pokemon now has an item that befits my strategy with them, so let's go over that.
Horsey has a newly acquired Shell Bell for health recovery whenever he deals damage. Sandy has the Quick Claw because he's rather slow, and I want him to move first sometimes. Sun Wukong has the Fist Plate to make Mach Punch more powerful and to make close combat devastatingly good. Plus, he has Blaze if we need to make Flame Wheel more powerful instead. Pigsy is the most mechanically interesting because he has the Razor Claw. His moves are specialized for crits, so if he can get a focus energy off and he uses either Karate or Cross Chop, he has a 50% chance of landing a crit when he has the Razor Claw equipped. We managed to take out Aaron and his bugs, with Vespiquen being a total bitch, but Bertha is a bit too powerful for us if we're only level 50. Back to the grind. Sigh. Yes, I said sigh out loud. What are you going to do? I'd hoped this would be done by March 1st, but right now it looks like that will not be the case, sadly. More grinding took place while I watched Creature Commandos and was disappointed by the ending. After that, even more grinding until we were all at level 54, almost 3 hours into my 19th recording, and I was about to lose hope that this video would come out when it did. I went into the Elite Four, and this is what happened. Aaron is up first. Fire Blast takes out Yanmega, Flame Wheel on Vespiquen to avoid her healing herself, then another Fire Blast to reduce the Queen Bee to cinders. We bounce on my boy's Heracross, and then Flame Wheel Scizor, and then Aaron cheats and brings in a non-bug type. Sandy then comes in and takes it down with Earthquake, then we're on to Big Bertha. Whiscash goes down with Earthquake, then we use Surf and a Max Potion, then Surf again to take out Gliscor. We use another Max Potion and Surf Hippowdon down before Sandy falls asleep, then Sun Wukong handles the rest of the fight. Flint is up next, and Sun Wukong tanks a Sludge Bomb before he takes out Houndoom. Then Sandy sweeps the rest of the team quite handily with his Water and Ground type moves. Lucian is our last contender, and the hardest of the Elite Four, especially for us since we have no direct counters for Psychic types. I sent in Sun Wukong to set up a Stealth Rock and to start stalling out Reflect. He goes down to a Psychic, and then Sandy comes in to keep stalling. Horse comes in after Sandy dies, and then proceeds to swipe the entire team. He got a lucky crit on Gallade with Bounce, took down Bronzong and Espeon with Fire Blast, and then he heals up by sending in Pigsy. He then comes back in, and Bob's your uncle. Cynthia was a truly vile bitch in this challenge, but here's how we do it. Fire Blast does good work on Spiritomb, who hits us hard with Shadow Ball before he goes down to another. We've got one shot left, and we send in Sun against Milotic. He sets up a Stealth Rock, goes down, and then Pigsy comes in and takes it out because it used Mirror Coat. He stays in against Togekiss and gets the crit we need to take it out thanks to Sun's Stealth Rock. Roserade goes down to Rapidash, and then we have the Garchomp wall to contend with. We do some mild damage with Horse, who goes down, and then we heal Sandy, who uses Stinky Poop Water to lower Garchomp's accuracy and Earthquakes to bring it down low, and this is our key to success. Garchomp keeps failing to hit us, so we revive the Horse, and when Sandy goes down, and we bring in our last Mon, ignore Mr. Slave and Mr. Plane, I didn't use them in battle, but I forgot to put them away in the box. Horse begins stomping the shit out of Garchomp, and due to good flinch luck and bad accuracy, we finally managed to take out Garchomp. After that, in comes Lucario, and since we are faster and we have the last Fire Blast loaded up in the chamber, we use it on Cynthia's last Pokemon for the one-shot. I then saved all 10 slots on my totally legit DS in celebration because fuck me if I accidentally lose that save and didn't get the ending. Oh, that would be awful. We then head upstairs, celebrate our victory, then Tripitaka bikes home after his journey to the Pokémon League. Thank you all so very much for watching this absolute monster of a video. I know it's my longest challenge video to date, and I also know that I made you all wait for this one quite a while. Frankly, I'm surprised it only took me 2.5 months. However, I think it was worth it, and I'm so glad to be done. And I'm pleased to announce that the next run will be something a lot shorter. Something to do with Call of Duty, perhaps? We'll see. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next run.